You are watching CycleCruza's all-in-one motorcycle channel. Subscribe today. Okay folks, I'm doing my first official 1900 mile review on my 2012 Honda CBR1000rr. But before I do that, I'm going to give you the reasons why I did not choose one of the other liter bikes. Number one contender for me is this BMW S1000rr, especially in this sick blue color. You know, these bikes are great, don't get me wrong, but from my research, the reliability is kind of sketchy on this bike. Some people reported engine problems and other types of problems. Actually, BMW's reliability is actually rated below that of Harley-Davidson. And with the higher maintenance costs and weak dealership network support, I passed on the Beamer. Next on my list, the Kawasaki Ninja ZX10R. Awesome looking bike, fast bike, but most of its power is at the top end. You know, I prefer a bike more with better bottom end and mid-range power like the CBR1000rr. This bike is faster than the CBR1000rr at the top end, but it's weaker on the bottom and mid-range power. And this bike lacks a built-in steering damper, which is a preference for me because I like to mount my GPS right there in the middle of the triple tree, and you can't do it on this bike. So I passed on the Kawasaki Ninja ZX10R. Third on my list is the Yamaha R1. I know a lot of you guys love this bike, and I think it looks cool from the front and side, but I'm not a real big fan of the dual undertail exhaust. I like the single undertail exhaust, but not the dual undertail exhaust. It just looks off, especially on this bike, and I hear people complain of heat issues at the seat. But also, I'm not a big fan of the sound of this bike with the cross-plane engine. It sounds like a V8 pickup truck. I know a lot of you guys love it. I'm not one of them, though. And this bike has no built-in steering damper, so I passed on the Yamaha R1. And the last Japanese super bike that was on my list was the Suzuki GSXR1000. You know, as you guys know, reliability is number one on my preference list, and there have been some issues with the GSXRs. Almost every year they've had a recall on this bike, so that concerns me. And also, I'm not a big fan of the looks on this particular generation. I did like the looks on the previous generation, and also this bike is just not as comfortable as the CBR1000rr to me, so I passed on the Gixxer. Next on my list, the Ducati Panigale. One of the most beautiful super bikes out on the market today. Gorgeous bike, you know. And this is the type of bike that probably get you some tail out there. For those of you guys who are looking for a motorcycle to pick up some women, this could be the bike for you. But you know what? I don't buy a bike strictly for its looks. You know, the performance I'm sure is fantastic on this bike, but it's very expensive. Maintenance is very expensive. I hear the reliability is kind of sketchy. You know, parts are going to be hard to come by. Dealer support is weak. So I passed on this gorgeous super bike. Last but not least, the Aprilia RSV4. Good looking bike. A lot of people love this bike on the street and track. And I hear as far as reliability, this bike is like the Honda of the European bikes. They say these bikes are pretty reliable, well built, and it's a good looking bike. But the major cons for me on this bike is the weak dealer support, and parts are going to be hard to come by. Otherwise, this could have been a major consideration for me. But I passed on the RSV4. As you know, I chose the 2012 Honda CBR1000rr, and the main reason, reliability. As you guys know, Honda makes some of the most reliable and well-built bikes. They may not make the prettiest bikes or the fastest bikes, but you can count on that bike being reliable as long as you maintain it well. And I'd rather be riding than fixing, because I hate fixing on a motorcycle. And you can get sick deals on leftover models like I did. I only paid $9,300 out for a leftover new 2012 model, and this bike is comfortable. It's got a comfortable seat. It's got the raised clip-on, so no weight issues on your hand or wrist, so you can ride for long periods of time in comfort on this bike. It's got the strong bottom end and mid-range power. It doesn't have the top end power like the BMW, but on the street you don't need it. 0 to 100 is where it's at least for me. And this bike has MotoGP derived built-in steering damper, so it's out of the way. Keeps this bike stable at all speeds, no tank slappers. And it has strong dealer support. You can go anywhere and almost find a Honda dealership. I chose to skip the ABS brakes on this bike because not only does it add 26 pounds of weight to this bike, which is ridiculous, but it also adds an unsightly hump underneath the seat. And I mostly ride in dry conditions anyhow, and you really don't need ABS brakes in dry conditions in my opinion. But I believe ABS brakes is a great safety feature. I just wanted the lighter bike. The 2012 and 13 models basically the same model as the 2008 through 2011, except for they added some key upgrades such as the new big piston Showa fork, which provides better turn-in feel. Also has a new Showa balance-free rear shock that provides better traction. Also has the upgraded multifunction LCD instrumentation panel with gear indicator and fuel consumption computer. And the engine mapping was added to make the bike less demanding. It has the great looking 12-spoke wheels now instead of the 3-spoke wheels. It has more aerodynamic bodywork. And the reason that I believe you should skip the 2014 and 15 model is because they made the ergonomics more aggressive for track riding and less conducive to comfortable street riding. So if you want a comfortable CBR1000rr, get the 2008 through 2013 models. Another awesome feature to this bike is that it has a removable tank cover. So you don't have to go through that pain in the ass work of draining the tank, taking it off, painting it and all that bullshit. All you got to do is replace it with a new set of plastics and you're good to go. So if you want to change the look of your bike or you crash your bike, it's easy to make it look new again. Also, this bike has a deep trunk space for a super sport. I can literally fit 2 large cans of original bike spirits or my 35mm camera and 3 of my fat GoPro Hero 2s in the trunk. Try doing that with one of the current super bikes. Not happening. Also, I like the mirrors with the integrated turn signals. I think it's a great safety feature and help provide better visibility to help keep you from having a real fucked up day. Okay, now for the mods that I did to my bike. The first thing that had to go was a stock exhaust. Although I think it looks great on the bike, it's just too damn quiet. So I switched over to a Hyperflow pipe specifically made for the CBR. So here's a before and after sound. The only other major modification that I did to this bike was change from the stock red fairings to these custom painted pearl shining yellow aftermarket fairings, and the only reason I did that because I wanted to change the look and preserve my stock fairings. And then I changed the tank cover over to black to make it look just like the 2008 model. I think it looks much more aggressive, looks awesome to me. I did put on the OEM badges as well. Okay, my thoughts after putting 1900 miles on this bike. Now that I've had a chance to put some good seat time on this bike, I feel like I can give you a good, honest review. You know, I've taken this bike all the way from the middle of Pennsylvania all the way to Northeast Ohio, and I loved every second of it. There's only one word that I can sum this bike up to, and that's smooth. I mean, this bike has smooth shifting, smooth power. It's comfortable. It's fantastic. You know, it has a slipper clutch, so you don't have to worry about the rear wheel locking up on you. It has clutchless upshifts. It just shifts really smooth. The throttle response is smooth. You know, it has that strong bottom end and mid-range power over the other super bikes, so it's really great for street riding. As I said, it's very comfortable. It has that you know, built-in steering damper, so you don't have to worry about any tank slappers. It's just smooth at all speeds, and it's highly flickable. This bike turns in with ease. It handles like a scalpel in the twisties. You know, I just feel really connected with this bike and the road, and it's just fantastic. And as far as oil burning issues, my bike has not burned one drop of oil thus far in this 1900 miles. Fantastic bike. All links to get items shown in this video are located in the info section of this video. Welcome to CycleCruza's Click to Go links. Just click on the pictures below to go to my recommended videos and my social media sites. Also, don't forget to visit my blog and store at CycleCruza.com. If you have any trouble clicking on these links, they are also provided in the info section of this video. Thank you and subscribe today. Guys, check out my new channel where I talk about anything and everything, not just motorcycle related. CycleCruza MotoVlog.